could fade. Praying they don't lock us up in the cage from chopping the white on the plate with the blade. Used to be
United Voices. It's the new episode. It's your boy D.
It's your Lady Black.
And Miss Lovely. And we got a special guest here today with us. And her name is Tamyara Brown. Tamyara Brown. I want her Tammy so bad. Tamyara Brown, sorry. And she's a great author. A couple books we're going to be talking about, her legacy and her empire, as well as she do different designs for logos, which is our designer. Okay, so did we have anything we want to discuss, or we want to get right with her?
Well, we can get right with her and we can talk about our other little things at the
Okay.
end of the show.
Okay. All right. Well, we want to go in and get a little background on who you are, where you're from, how long you've been, and what books we look forward to reading.
So, a few books, and I'm keeping my mask on because my son just had treatment. But one of the things that I do is not only do I write books, but I also am the host of Black Diaries, which I also have a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
This is I have my 7th book out, which is called Black Diaries also. And it's, the reason I called it Black Diaries is broke, lonely, angry, and horny. And I want to address African American women who are going through the struggle and love, not just loveless marriages, but love, self-love, their lack of self-love for themselves. Mm-hmm. And it happens in our community so much. I was just one day taking a ride, and I just noticed that there were so many women not loving on themselves and not liking themselves.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to address that because sometimes we don't deal with our own issues because we're so busy taking care of everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So those are some of the things that I'm doing. I have another book that will be out probably next year. It's called Dethrone. And Dethrone is probably the most hardest book. I think that when people read Cash and Money, they thought that I went to another level. But Dethrone is really about how sometimes black men get dethroned by love and blood and money. So I talk about how money has power over us and how sometimes we do things because we're in the middle of the struggle.
Right.
So I tackle that issue.
Well, I tell you what, reading this, and I'm not done, so I can't go into all of it because trying to get, taking care of business and trying to read, I got lost in it. And I went to 1 to 60 pages and I couldn't stop, but I knew I had to get up. But the characters, where do you get these characters from? Like, is these stories that you heard before? You just putting them, like, making it real? Or is these just visions? Or how does that work that when you write these books? How do these things come to you?
You know what? I actually see it. I have a dream. I have a dream. And so I've always been fascinated with twins because I had a set of twin sisters. They passed away, unfortunately. One at 3 and one at 1. But I've always been fascinated by twins. And I wanted to tell the story of how Cash was the intelligent one.
Right.
Street knowledge. He had the street knowledge, but Money had the street knowledge, but Cash had the book money and how the yin and yang of it. But also how sometimes our families are divided by power and money and greed. And I wanted to bring a love story into that because we tell the story of African American men only loving the girl that's light-skinned. And in this case, I wanted to tell the story of she doesn't have to be the perfect size, perfect, whatever they consider to be perfection, but she had to be plus size.
Right.
Because we have a love story.
Yes, absolutely. Now, Supreme. I'm at this point, like I said, where I'm at in the book. I know that's somebody's father, but that man was lethal. And I mean beyond lethal when he could take his own child out. That was, like I said, I couldn't stop and I didn't want to stop. I had to force myself. And normally if I go so deep in the book, I'll actually start dreaming these things, But I'm excited to complete the rest this afternoon. But where you get that character from?
Well, you know what? I knew my mother was dating this guy who was a drug dealer. Right? I grew up in New York City, in Brooklyn. She was dating this drug dealer named Richard. And I remember him stabbing his son in his leg for stealing 75 cents. So that was where the whole concept. So that part of it was I actually saw it. And he was the first thing he said, you never steal from your family.
75 cents.
75
And
cents.
how old was the kid?
Then he was 11. He said, you never steal from me. Ask me for anything, but if you steal from me.
Right. Which is true, but
I would never write. But, but it traumatized me.
You're right.
But I wanted to add that part in the story where sometimes people just, first of all, Supreme had mental health issues. He was a narcissistic person.
Right.
So, I started researching how narcissistic people, believe.
Did your research.
Yeah, and a lot of times they believe that even when they're wrong, they're right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what about Goldie? Now wait a minute, because I might have not, I was zipping through because I wanted to get to the next page. But who was that? His sister or was
that's his sister?
Okay, that's his sister. That was,
and Goldie actually is. I have another book out called Love, Lust, and Lotto, and it was a short story. And Love, Lust, and Lotto is a short story about Goldie. And Goldie she's definitely a lesbian, but she
okay, because I was confused with that too. I heard her mention Simone.
Yeah, Simone, actually, so the character Simone comes from Love and Lust and Lotto. She killed her. And she killed her for cheating on her. But the one thing about Supreme is, as much as I tell you the good thing is he's always been the one that's been cheated on.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I don't hear about him.
Right, and that's really why he reacts the way that he reacts, because he's been
trust and loyal.
Because he believes in trust and loyalty, and it's even in the scene in the book when his son went and approached the guys, he pulled out his gun. He does not care for money at all.
Right, he don't. They don't like each other.
They don't like each other, but when you see somebody at war, it's like being in your house. Your kids may fight all the time, but when they see
somebody fighting against somebody different, they come together.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, my thing with her is now, because she offered him $75,000. Was this like she was just throwing it out there at him, or she was serious? Like because she do something with organs, with body parts. So was she giving them to people that's like, or selling them to the hospital when somebody dies?
So I was reading the story. So I read a lot. I probably read about
more than anything.
Right, 200 books a year.
That's real good.
Yeah, I read 200 books a year. And the one thing that when my son was getting his kidney, when he first got his kidney, it was funny how rapidly. So he got his kidney in 2014. Every other week, a kid was getting a kidney. My son got his kidney from a police officer who died, and he made a request. And he said that he wanted to only have it to an African American child. If I get killed, I want this child. I don't want
nobody else having it.
Nobody else. That's the rule.
Right.
So my son got his kidney.
Oh wow!
But as I was listening, there were so many kids coming into Mount Sinai Hospital getting a kidney, and this doctor said that it's not by accident. That's by design, because it's cheaper to give them a kidney versus keeping them on dialysis.
Right.
And so I know that there is a black market for organs. And sometimes when we hear the story about the young man that got killed, I think it was about maybe 5 years ago, and they found him wrapped up, and when they found him wrapped up, all of his organs was
I heard about that.
It's real. So we have to, that's why a lot of times we have to watch our kids, because our organs are more, it's more valuable.
Right. Because I was speaking of that with that Feminica in Chicago, the girl in the hotel. Because I'm a little confused on that, because they was talking about then like that was a little organ thing. That's why they put her in the freezer. But I didn't hear nothing was missing off. Like nobody cut her open and take nothing. So.
And a lot of times people don't tell you that. There's a lot of people who literally, there's a black market that, and it's not African American. I just happen to give that role.
Right.
There's people that make millions of dollars, because the one thing that a rich man can't get is an organ. You got to get on the list just like everybody else. But if you can get somebody, and a lot of times they go by the numbers in at the DMV. They look at
your license number.
Your license number, because as soon as you say you're an organ donor,
oh, they go go get her.
Yeah. Because
that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And then they connect your health records, because if you have a person's ID, you can pull up in their social security, you can pull up any information. So these people make so much money off of it, and I just wanted to kind of tackle that in Love, Lust, and Lotto. I don't get deep into it because it's like conspiracy theory,
right?
But I wanted to tackle that,
right, and put that involved. Okay, so what we got coming out current? Because I know you're saying it's like one book to the connection, and I don't think I got into none of the diaries.
No, well, Black Diaries is, about a woman named Zenobia who believes, she gave her mother HIV when she was young by giving her heroin.
Yeah, I read that insert.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And she finds out that her husband is gay, and also her daughter, all in the same week that her daughter is sick with leukemia and her husband is gay and sleeping with her best friend the entire marriage.
Which was a male?
Which was a male.
Wow.
And so she feels like everything in her life is falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
Her entire life is like, I quit.
Mm-hmm.
And she has to find the strength, and she finds the strength not only in herself but her family, and also how to deal with these obstacles. Because sometimes we blame ourselves for other people's bad decisions and other people's mistakes.
Girl, you deep in here now.
Yeah.
And it kind of remind me, because I'm going to be honest with you, the first book that I really got into, stuff got to catch me. And that's why I didn't even know what this was about, the cash and money. But I knew this was kind of me to like the Terry Woods, True to the Game. Mm-hmm. I read every last one of them because I couldn't stop. You know what I mean? And this is your writing material. It's kind of like the same thing, but different flips to it. Mm-hmm. But this is definitely, like I said, I like this, and I'm also gonna get into you said the Love, Lust, and Lotto. Is that the one coming up now, or that out first?
Well, Cash and Money is next. The next story is Love Has No Waist Size.
Oh no, Love Has No Waist
Size, and that connects. It's the continuation of the story, and because you haven't finished the ending, I won't tell you. But,
no, right, please.
But, Love Has No Waist Size. It really brings you to tears. It's like it is my best-selling book.
Really?
And Black
it's
Diaries,
not out now.
It's out.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm on it.
It's my best-selling book because it connects to dealing with breast cancer.
You're touching everything.
It touches African American men becoming the caregivers. See, we tell the stories of African American men being the gangsters and stuff, and so I flip the script. I definitely tell you the real of the hood, but I see black men in so many different levels. Because I've related to so many different people. It was like the guy Richard. He was ruthless, but he was the man that would he would give you anything you need. He'd be like, oh, you ain't got no food? He'll just throw $100 out on the ground and be like, pick that up. That's yours. So men are we got to stop characterizing our black men as just one thing.
Right.
And, money is really an important character because you see him as ruthless, but you also see him as a man that is going to grow.
Okay.
And he allows the woman to
take him. Right.
You're right, because Carmela is his peace.
Right.
And when you give men peace,
right,
they'll give you love. I believe that.
That's right. And then what we got going on far as with your other business that you're doing, like
graphic design. Oh my goodness, I have been so busy. It's funny. I have been nonstop busy, and it really happened by accident because I got tired of paying people.
That's how it be. Or waiting for people to get it done,
right? And I kind of paying people and not getting
what you want,
what I wanted. So I just kind of started practicing, and you can see the elevation. I did the cover for Cash and Money and Love Has No Waist Size, and I wanted to just challenge myself. And then I went to school. I actually went to Full Sail University. I'm in Full Sail University now, and I said, I am going to take this to another level, and not just for me.
Right.
Because in this pandemic and everything that's going on, we got to teach one, reach one.
Right.
And I have a skill that I feel like I can teach other people.
Right.
And also make my services affordable. And sometimes it's a blessing and a curse.
Right.
But I believe me, I sit in a lot of things, and they do not know how to tailor to our market. They think that our market is just drugs, sex, and money, and we're so much more than that.
Right. Now these people on the book, is these just pictures you just randomly picked
I went
somewhere?
to stock photos, so I went and I buy these pictures, but there's I buy these pictures from different agencies. And
okay, so you have to purchase these,
right? And he was originally on Love Has No Waist Size, and my daughter was like, Ma, you should make him the twin. And I was looking for all. She said, he's the one.
Wow.
Yeah, and Cash and Money. And so I was like, oh, because he has all these great pictures. He has like over 200 pictures.
Yeah,
and
I gotta check this out.
Yes.
Gotta check this
And then the father, he just looked like, he reminded me of the guy. If y'all ever look at Soul Food.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
know that's why I thought some of these characters, that's why I'm looking like they look familiar, but at the same time.
Yeah, the guy that played in Soul Food, I just loved his, just the writing of, I love the writing of Soul Food, but I love how that character captured that role. And I thought about Supreme. I just took him up to another level.
Yeah. He's deep. I you know, like I said, killing my son, I don't know. He wouldn't have made it. I'm sorry. I know Money wanted to do him, but he just wouldn't have made it. But I'm waiting to see how this really turned out with the dad and things like that, because I'm looking like, I know he's been through some type of abuse. They, you know, from what Goldie was saying to Money, you know, we've been through abusive and homes, and I think they was in some type of homes and being abused and beaten every day. And, you know, some men do get that from what they see or what they've been taught by or growing up. These people didn't love them, so they don't know how to love. You know, now Onika, is that her name? Anika, yeah, because she's a piece of work there, honey. Went through the father and the sons on that one.
Wait a minute, that sounds like what is it?
You thinking about Empire?
Yeah, well, she did that. Lucius.
Wow.
And then
and this
the
was
baby.
out before that.
Hakeem. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was out.
Are you sure it's
That
Hakeem?
book was definitely
It's
out before that.
Hakeem.
Yeah, it's Hakeem.
Yeah. She
That
got the
was the
baby by
youngest one.
Hakeem.
Oh, Lucius, right? They like that.
Yeah.
Oh, they killed her. I forgot about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a piece of
And
work.
Anika is you kind of it's a crazy ending to the story, but in the middle of Anika, I think that I made her very complex. She wants one person and one person only.
Right.
She only.
But I'm looking like, why didn't you just go to him and just express
But
your feelings?
he didn't want her. He never wanted. And the thing was,
Right. He just wanted what he was doing every Saturday or every couple Saturdays. That's all he wanted with her.
yeah, he only wanted no Saturdays.
Yeah, right.
That was crazy.
You
Right.
know, but you know, Money was he first of all, he was never into small women. He only liked plus size women.
Right.
And Money just did not. He could not stand her. He knew that she was manipulative
Right.
and conniving. So, you know, and it's funny how Cash and Money are so close, but when it comes to Anika, that's where their conflict is. And
He tried to tell him though. I mean, I picked it up from the jump, 'cause especially when you telling a man to kill your father. I'm like, what type of broad is this? But this before I even knew the real scoop. You know, once you read in something and you hearing that, first of all, you sleeping with his son, and then you gonna tell him to kill him? Like, I'm looking like, bro, you tried to. Then I'm thinking maybe she just want all the money and the Jews and whatever he had. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe she's trying to take him out to get, reap all the benefits of it. But when she said that, he makes her give her head 3 hours and then beat her with the belt. I said, what kind of girl? This dude is mad. I said, but how? This is his wife treating her like that, so he's a little off too.
yeah, he's definitely, I made him very twisted and mean, because he doesn't know how to love.
That's the whole bottom line.
Right, he doesn't know how to love, and the person that deceived him, he didn't even think. And I mean, once you get to that part
Right.
of the deception and how he just really flips the script, and he just never knew how to love. And
Right.
I think that happens a lot sometimes when people are growing up, and not everybody.
Mhm.
They just, and I think African American men have a lot of pride, and instead of saying, I need help, you know what I'm
That's the
saying?
more, yeah.
I need help, and I think that's what happened with him, and that's the difference between Money and his father, because even the complicated relationship with his mother,
I didn't get on her either.
yeah, and it'll come into that.
Yeah.
It'll come into that story.
It was kind of deep with her, and I want to see at the end what it turned out to be with her, because she just to say how much Money loved his mother, no matter what she did or what she was doing and being on drugs, and I'm just surprised that Supreme didn't kill her by sleeping with her cousin. That's what I'm like. He had some type of love for her that he didn't kill her.
He loved her deeply. As I was developing the character, all I kept thinking about is the relationship that my mother had. Right, with Richard. Richard really loved my mother.
So this is some things that has happened, or things you have seen, and then you combine these characters.
Right,
so it's like kind of like personal experience mixed in with creativeness. So I want to ask. Sorry, not to cut you off, but I wanted to ask, what made you start writing?
What made me start writing was I always wanted to be a writer. And the very first book I read was Cinderella. I was in love with that book. And the two things I had realized is that I wanted to be a wife. I wanted somebody to rescue me. And I love words and I love books. And it was like my mother would be like, girl, because I would talk all the time. My mother would be like, girl, go and read a book. That's the first thing she taught me. Girl, go read a book. You talk too much. And it you know, I can have so many different things going on in my life, but give me a book and I am at peace. And so I love writing. So I started writing professionally when I was probably 14, because I was writing for a magazine in my school, and I went to school for it. I went to high school for it in New York City. And then I just ran off with it. And then when my son got sick,
that really went.
I decided to write a book. All of my books have been written. Besides Black Diaries, all of my books have been written in the hospital while my son was in the hospital. So my son
keep yourself at peace and keep your mind focused that everything's gonna be okay. God bless you.
Yeah, shout out to him, man. Stay strong.
Yes.
Yeah, I always see you, with pictures and things like that.
Yeah,
with him dedicated with your son.
Yeah, and he's, and he's very resilient. He's 18 years old now, so he's an adult. And I learned a lot about resiliency and about how we humble ourselves, because once you're in the hospital room and you in ICU, that will, let me tell you something, if nothing ever humbles you, ICU.
Tell me, I've been there with my mother, man, 3 times. So I know, she has leukemia. I told you about that.
Yes.
And I went from that to bleeding on the brain. And when you talk about, being strong, and I have brothers, and I'm the man. Because I don't know, in a man's mind, can they tolerate that? But I had to watch it, so.
And isn't it amazing? Because people don't know what caregivers go through, you know. We become everything, and nobody gives you $1 for that.
Right. And I mean, that's mentally, and like you said, when you don't have a husband, you don't have a man saying it's gonna be okay. So you gotta hug yourself, grab yourself, and say, "I'm gonna make it through. I'm gonna make it through and be strong." You know what I mean? So I understand that pain, but they in, my mom and dad is in remission and been for 8 years and doing what they're supposed to do, and I just want them to live the best, not being stressed on none of their kids, because they need to live their days the way they need to live them.
And we had the opportunity, because I was a part of our curls, and we had the wonderful opportunity to put a wig on her. That's how right
with my mom. And that's what she started wearing wigs. My mom would just wear a scarf, and but that they the ones that put her in the wigs, and they did that for free. And that's and even let her even pick another one out. So this was all at the convention center how we met. And like I said, they've been supportive day one. We in the back with just us off to the side, and it was just like we were teamed up together. Not that we were against everybody, because it was all black businesses in it, but you know who you hit it off with, who was humble, who was genuine, and they supported my son from day one. Where's your other friend at? What's her name?
Cherise.
You still talk to her?
I still talk to her. She runs, I'm not a part of the organization because I went back to school, but I'm a part of it, meaning like I donate money, I do all their flyers for free. But it's www.Our Curls Inc. and it's
Our Curls, right.
And it's an amazing organization that provides free wigs and makeovers and services for women of color. Making sure that they have, especially when you're going through cancer, but also they do caregiver services. So like they may say, hey, you may need a break, and they give you a gift card to go to lunch, or we did our first carnival. We did so many different things, but for the community, because we want to help, and they want to help African American women. And Cherise is a breast cancer survivor. I'm a breast cancer survivor. And I got mine at 33. And we just knew that this was a problem in our community. And we're not tackling it. We're not talking about breast cancer, because we want to, and so, and it's not just breast cancer, all cancer. And so that's why, and we loved your mother. She was just so, Her spirit, even when she wasn't feeling well, her spirit was on high.
Right. And it takes a lot. You know, I look at a lot my mom went through that. I'm looking. My mother always been strong. That's just, you know, that's where I get me who I am from my mom. That strength. And when we thought it was no way, it was some way. Made it some way. And just looking at her like, my mother is a fighter. Like all she went through, be like, I couldn't even dare go through that. But she's doing excellent now. You know. That lady's funny, that's all I gotta say. Shoot out still in a minute and anything else. But yeah, I understand what you're saying with that. Yeah. So we're gonna get Sharice up here too though. So we can I'm pretty quite sure she's known, but again, this is like I said, what Strong United Voices do is that we're trying to be a voice as well as let people come in and be a voice to let them know where they come from, what they're doing. Because a lot of people don't know. I don't know if you watched the last show when we had Kenneth Simmons up here, and he was like exposing a lot of black businesses that I have not a clue. Because just like I told her, if I don't go over in that area, I wouldn't know unless it's word of mouth. Somebody saying this or that. So we definitely want to reach out to her and get her out. But we also will, get emails, go and get email information and stuff like that. If she can't get to us, we come to her. You know what I mean? So did anybody else have anything?
Yeah, Tamyara, I was looking at how you have a lot of inspirational quotes to keep motivation. Right. And I was like in awe when I just sat down and I just read through them all. There's one particular that stuck out, and I want to read it, and I want to ask you, where were you at that time when you had wrote this quote? And it goes, I finally came to the decision to break the shackles that held me hostage. The process was not overnight, nor was it easy. Today, I am proud to say that what once held me didn't keep me. What was meant to break me didn't destroy me. I forgave people. I went to therapy and I sorted through my issues. I now know that even though I am not my mistakes, I am not my failures, and that I was not created not to pursue my dreams. I was not brought forth on this earth to carry around my past. So now I move forward towards greatness and my happiness. That's powerful.
Thank you.
She tearing up. Girl, you gotta stop this. You getting too sensitive. Be strong. Look at me. You see me getting my corner.
So could you share with us where were you when you had this breakthrough? Because this was truly a breakthrough.
It definitely was. It was probably about, I want to say about a year or two ago, and I was just going through it, like, dealing with the fact that, just dealing with my children. I have a big family, and dealing with everything on my own, and I just came to this conclusion that either I was going to be in bondage by what hurts me, or I was going to break those shackles. And so the first step was going to therapy, and therapy really helped because I realized that I was dealing with, just from childhood to now, I was going through a lot of stuff. I was dealing with a son, sometimes sitting in ICU, like I said, sitting in ICU, and you right next door in the old hospital, you would hear people pronouncing babies dead, and you had to, and I didn't realize that I had carried all of this stuff, and I hadn't had a break, just emotionally. And I made a decision that I wanted to make sure that women and men knew that it's okay, one, to go to therapy. Number two, it's good to say, forgive people.
Right.
Because when you're going through that, the first thing that happens is you get angry at people for not being there. And I had to learn the hard way that it's okay if you're not there.
Right.
And that just recently happened. I just got that. That's okay.
You got it though. That's what's up.
That it's okay if you're not there for me, but I'm there for me, and I'm always going to support people because that's who I. Because at one point I was getting mad, and I know that all the business owners and everything that you guys do, sometimes you feel you get in your feelings.
Right. You ain't gotta tell me.
You're frustrated.
Right. But if you allow that frustration to stop you, you just will not elevate.
Yeah, that's true. You ain't gonna succeed with that type of mentality. So you're right.
So, and two, your books, those are, can I say, parts of your life that you were trying to sort through. So by sorting through them, that's how it ended up on paper the way it happened because of your life experiences with certain characters in these books. So that was part of your therapy as well.
Again, it's that writing is always probably my number one therapy. Yeah, but I think that too, showing people that the underdogs and the portrayal that we have of African American men is that they can be at point A, whether they're in jail, whether they've been on drugs, and they can elevate.
Right.
That your mess, and my thing is you can turn your mess into a beautiful masterpiece. It's up to you.
That's it.
And a lot of black men and black women just get stuck on the mess. And then they allow other people to keep them stuck in the mess.
Right.
That's why you have to separate your circle. Sometimes you gotta change, and it hurts in the process because you're used to being in there. But when God's taking you to a different, and that's who it is. It's God taking you to a different level and basically getting you out of that bondage. We don't look at it as bondage because if my girl ride with me and I can go complain and mad and this and this and this and that, and she complain and we mad. But I know the course that I've been going on, it's not that I don't love them. It's just I'm going somewhere else different right now, and everybody can't go. We always go. I'm always love you and everything like that, but sometimes everybody can't go, and if I keep staying here, I'm not going where he want me to be, and I don't like pain. I dealt with pain too long, and so when you got a peace of mind right now, and I'm so at peace, it's like I can't let that enter me no more. I have to do what Sean wants to do, how she want to do it. And I ain't hurt you. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? But it's just sometimes when you get that inner peace, man, it's a beautiful feeling. And I didn't know what that meant until I started getting involved with this. And that's just listening. And I must say it's an awesome feeling, man. Some things that the devil been trying. You've been trying to get in here different ways, just like this morning. But, I'm looking like you I learned to shake it off with the peace and let the peace override it. Discuss it and leave it alone. And that's what it's all about, that inner peace, man.
I want to ask you, so what will you do? You put out like a book every year, or is it like
I was doing it every year, and then I started graphic design, so I slowed down a lot. And then I also have a blog, so and I think I was doing so much that I was like, hold up, I need to put this book out, because I was going to rush and try to put the Throne out, and I said, no, I got to take my time with this book. And it's been challenging this year as far as for writing, because I've had so much graphic design and working with other clients, because I have, I deal with branding and strategy, so I have my clients that I have to focus on. So I was like, I'm going to take my time with this book. I'm not going to rush the process, because a lot of people this year are, dropping books during the pandemic because they got the time.
Right.
So I didn't want to do that. I didn't want my book to be in the race.
Part of that,
Never in competition.
You do this. This ain't, you don't just do it because you got time. You do this when you ain't got time.
Exactly.
So I already know, so I get it.
So that's just letting you let people get their thing out. Do your thing, because when I come, it's my thing. My time.
And you know what? And I'm happy for new authors. I want people to write, and it's funny. People ask advice all the time. I want them to write. But I also know that it's a challenge. Because when you put your heart and soul out on that paper, that's like purging. It's like having a baby.
Right. And letting it be born.
It definitely is. It's a project and it's a vision that come to life, and you putting a lot out there. It's a little piece of you in each project and things like that, and like you said, rather it's personal experiences. So it's tough.
Well, you might want to get with her.
We did. We actually had a meeting, and I was on him, and he was like, I know he was like, then we got sidetracked.
But it's okay when it's meant to come, it will come. But it's just, again, y'all, to give y'all out that there are people that's doing this, that's local right here, great book authors out here, and I'm loving it. Like, you got me.
And definitely check out her graphics. She's nice with that too.
Yes,
we've been sharing those. I've just gotta create the right page.
And I definitely will help. And and visit my website. I designed my website too, so you can always go to www.tamlovestowrite.com, and that's TAMLUVSTOWRITE. And just go to my website. You can listen to my podcast there. You can read some of my poetry, some of my work, because I write on all levels. So definitely connect with me. And I like supporting Black businesses too.
Yes, she do.
I put you in my book, so every book that I write, I put businesses in. Be Great is in my book. SUV will be in my next book. So any business that you have, let's and that's the thing. We as Black people, we gotta support each other.
That's right. And just like I said, I don't care if it's a like or share, because everybody don't have money. We understand that, and it don't cost nothing to call up and say. I'm even telling people now, call and be a voice. That's why I got a phone line, so you can call and say. I don't care if you want to call and say that mayor ain't shit. Hey, we got your opinion. Because I told you about doing, like, when the protest was to George Floyd. I didn't want to do the rallies because I'm saying it's not about just me. It's other people out here, or elderly people can't get out, that they just want to pick the phone up and say, let me call and tell how I feel today about this topic happened today. And that's where it came in, that this is what you can do, Sean. This is what you can do. This your field, but my vision's so big, it's overwhelming. So sometimes I just got to let it go so people can see, but I just want them to see the direction I'm going in. Like when Kenny was saying, a lot of people talk, and hey, that's what I got to offer you right now. Until God showed me I'm going in God's lane where He's guiding me, and I'm still feeling my way out. This might don't be the way I'm supposed to be doing it, but I'm just feeling my way out till He let me know. No, we're going to go this way. So right now, it's just with the George Floyd that happened and other things that's happened, the police brutality. And I'm sorry, again, I don't like to be talking about Mayor Brown all the time, but I'm just learning his position. And to me personally, it's just something I would have never took if I couldn't have control over my city. Right. We're not just talking about the police. I got that understood with the union, but this your city. And when our kids are dying and getting shot, again, as I said, you're our color, but we don't know what's underneath. And I'm just trying to understand his position a little more. And that's why I keep those kind of people coming on the show now, so I can get educated. I don't know everything, and I got to do my research. But when I need somebody to guide me, you know what I mean, so that I can understand. Okay, lay off of him for a minute till I go do my research on him. But Kenneth Simmons taught us a lot. Well, taught me a lot, I must say, and he gave me the right way, the directions to go to look and get the information I need so that I know what I'm talking about. But still, it's not going to change my opinion.
Right, and I think that's, and being, and that's what I like about this podcast is I watched the first episode, that you're fearless in your words. Because the only way you can be educated is being fearless. Right. And saying, I don't know. Or maybe saying, this is the situation, and then somebody enlightening you.
Come on.
Right. So that's the one thing that I love about the fact that you are a voice of the community, and it takes time. And I love when, you were sharing the concept, I was like, oh yes, this is amazing. Because we need this in our community. Right. And the more you keep doing it, the greater you will be. And I mean, you see it. The growth is happening. The growth will come. So keep going.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Very much.
All right. Anybody? Do you got any information you want to pass out?
So guys, go to I support a lot of organizations. So I can just say go to www.ourcurlsinc.org, and that's Cherise Walker Betts' organization. Go and support. We have Bonita Whitlock, who does.
Bonita,
she is amazing.
What does she do? Because I know she was a dancer. That girl is bad dancer.
Isn't she?
Yeah. Because we was at
one of the events.
The hotel, the Millennium.
Yeah, Bonita is an author. She's a children's. She's a children's book author.
Oh, okay.
I work with her on that project.
Okay.
She also is the right. She's a smoothie queen. She also has a podcast, Bonita Beauties. Donna Brown, who has My So Sassy, My So Sassy Life. She deals with joy, pleasure, and intimacy.
Okay.
You have organizations such as For Our Daughters, which is by Mercedes Wilson. There's so many African American community things that are here. So I never want to just build my platform on that. People that so many local authors, Shannon Sproul, Latrice.
Okay.
Tanisha Mackin. She's not here in Buffalo now, but she's another great author and publisher.
Yes.
There's so many people who are, dropping books and dropping jewels. So my thing is support them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I believe if we support each other, more And if we support each other the right way, that's how things gonna grow. That's how people gonna become what they, their visions and come to light, and then it shows that we do understand the power we have, and that's why I always express that about the Black Dollar, because I feel like that's really what. It's the powerfulest thing that's going on right now. We spend our money with everybody else, whether it's Gucci, Louis, all that. Like, we make it popping. Like, it don't matter what it is. If it's Gatorade, if it's Pepsi. It's, y'all can have the commercial. Shout out to y'all. It's no disrespect. But what I'm saying is, we make it popping. We make the New York Yankee hats. We all that. We do that. That's the Jordans, all that. Man, we just got to understand the power that we have. And then, and make sure that we support. And everybody ain't gonna be, those people that you could support. We understand that, but it's about still supporting your people and seeing it. Give them a shot. You know what I mean? You got the money, why not?
I agree. I agree.
And you build resources like that. Also, you never know who you could meet that might not be from something. You go in there to buy a cup, and then you might get a job opportunity. You never know what you can meet through people either. So that's why we gotta be stronger and stand together.
What people doing for their community or their countries. Look at Akon.
Right.
We take care of him.
Put lights on and all for all the people. You're absolutely right. Millions of dollars.
Building a whole, a whole city.
That's
he did that. I think in Africa too.
Providing, all the electricity for them over there and things like mills and things like that. And like I remember Jay-Z doing it for the, water for people and, bringing that in food, and it's all necessary, you know what I mean? But it shows that once you get to that level that you can provide those opportunities for people.
But you can we all can start small,
And
it's about knowing better to do better, and we all have to start doing better for one another, for each other. Despite, what your finances are, despite what your background is, at the end of the day, we all, like they say, look alike. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We all have to inhale the same air. We get cut. The blood is the same color with all of us. You know what I'm saying? So we have to do better for each other.
That's it. All right. Anybody got to close out or?
Well, I'll say this and then you can close out. Okay. Speaking of doing better, we lost two great civil rights leaders.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Representative John Lewis, for some of you who do not know, he marched back with Martin Luther King on the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama. He passed away, as well as C.T. Vivian, which is a pastor. He also passed away. It was days apart from one another. So we want to send prayers out. Prayers out to their families.
Rest in power.
And everybody just take notice, and if you have to go back and just research and look at the things that these two gentlemen have done for us. And if you look at what some of us are doing, it's a shame. You know what I'm saying? They risk their lives to give us rights that we have, and some of us do not appreciate it, nor take advantage of those rights. So that's just a little nugget I just want to drop in y'all little cups today.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and I think people need to understand that, and it's a part that in this era now that we don't understand, the lack of knowledge, not understanding, and really just living in the now and not understanding where we was at before that got us here. And because if we don't know that information, how we gonna get somewhere else and elevate and move up and level up? You know what I'm saying? So that's why, like we said. Shout out to them because they built the ground. They put the foundation down for us, and now it's about us to take it to that next level. And if we don't know no better, then we out here just blind leading blind. So we got to shout out to those powerful brothers right there for sure. And I just wanted to ask too, could you shout out, any your blogs? I remember you mentioned your blogs.
So yeah, I do have a blog on Medium, and that blog, and I talk about various issues. And one of the issues like that, I tackle the things that we go through every day. But I wanted to kind of piggyback on what you said, that a lot of times we just don't know our past, and I think that's why we're repeating a lot of our history. And I talk about that in a lot of my blogs. I also add short stories, free short stories, because I want to always make sure that somebody can read my work, not just for me, but for them, because they may get something from it. And so you know, when I use those motivational quotes and stuff like that, that's to empower people.
I love your quotes.
Thank you.
I love those quotes.
I keep
I love
sometimes
those.
you be right on point when you're down, man, and I go through there and hit that Facebook. Normally I get that Pastor Marcus Gill.
Yes.
But if I don't got him, you come right on time
Thank
too.
you.
So I appreciate that, guys. We had right now we'll be having another guest coming back on Monday. But right now, y'all, we want everybody to stay positive. Again, you can get in contact with us, strongunitedvoices@gmail.com. Our number is 259-9718 if you want to call up and be a guest. Again, if you don't come to us, we can come to you, whichever you prefer. But right now, we'll see y'all guys next week.
Deuces.
I'm trying to make a living.